A kids podcast.
You can go slow.
A kids podcast about.
Hello, my name is Ari, and I'm a producer for podcasts here at A Kids Company About. We're on a mission to empower a generation of kids through diverse storytelling. And we're doing this through podcasts like the one you're listening to right now. Check out all our books, podcasts, and classes by visiting akidscode.com.
Hi, I'm Nikita Simpson.
And I'm Dr. Anne Louise Lockhart.
I wrote a kid's book called A Kid's Book About Emotions.
And I help kids and grown-ups work through their emotions.
And now we're making a podcast about them.
This is Everyday Feels, a podcast about emotions for kids and their grown-ups.
This podcast is better together. Listen with a grown-up, with a family member, with a class, or with a friend. How are you feeling today, Dr. Lockhart?
I'm feeling relaxed today because I've had a slowish kind of day. So how about you, Nikita? How are you feeling today?
Honestly, I'm feeling a little tired and sad because it's been a long week. And I've been struggling with all the things that I have to do. But I'm happy we're here together today.
Me too. Me too. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome, Dr. Lockhart. And thank you for that too. Thinking about this episode, what is happening when you're feeling an emotion, but you feel stuck in it?
Like you can't get out of it?
Yeah. What is that?
So that's part of our brain's way to get us to safety. We might run away, that's flight. We might go in attack mode, that's fight. We might pass out, that's fawn. We might stop in our tracks and can't move, and that's freeze. So there is no shame in this. Our brain is just trying to figure out what to do with this new information, and then we react.
You know, it's pretty amazing how our brain just knows. It doesn't always feel good when we feel out of control, though.
Oh, I know. It doesn't feel good at all. It can actually feel really uncomfortable. So today we're going to discuss what exactly is happening when we get stuck and the feeling behind that. We'll talk about what you can do about it too.
Are you ready?
I sure am. Are you?
Definitely. Today we're going to hear from Jaslyn from Canada, who has a story to share about what happened when she felt like she froze. Jaslyn is 10 years old. Let's listen together.
My name is Jaslyn. I am 10 years old. I live in Canada. The members of my family are my older brother, my Baba, and my mama.
Awesome. And Baba is dad in Arabic, right?
Yes.
Amazing. All right. So let's talk about some feelings. We were going to talk about something else, and then we changed our mind right before we started. I think it's perfect. A time you felt
Scared is right before I started this recording.
You felt scared. What else did you feel?
I felt nervous and I felt excited.
Awesome. And so what did you do?
I took some deep breaths and I counted backwards from 4. And I clenched my fist.
Awesome. So a few different strategies there. So why do you think you felt that way?
I felt that way because I am anxious a lot.
Okay. And what about this experience brought on those scared, excited, anxious feelings?
Just really the fact that I'm going to be doing a whole podcast so that everyone can hear me.
Okay. If you were to change something, what would you change?
That's a tough question. Like, I don't really want to change anything because anxiety is just like a thing you have to feel so that you understand that feeling.
Okay. Amazing. And how are you feeling about this now? How are you feeling about doing this now?
Still the same feelings, but feeling a little bit better now that I have been doing it for a little bit.
Amazing. All right. Should we talk about the time that we were going to talk about? Well, we could try or we can end. What do you think?
Try.
So what were you going to talk about?
I was going to talk about the time that I went to a restaurant.
Yes.
That whenever I go to restaurants, I feel excited when I'm about to go. Then in the car, I get anxious. And then when I get to the restaurant, I can't really choose and I freeze. So I do part of the fight and freeze.
Yep.
And I just freeze, so I can't really do anything. And it's hard for me to stop doing that. But I have a help from an adult, and I have some help and by counting and deep breathing and having a hug.
Awesome. And how did you solve it? How do we usually solve it when you can't make a choice in hard moments?
In hard moments when I choose, usually lately I've been doing pros and cons of the pros of getting something and the cons of getting something. So yeah, that's helpful. It problem solves our feelings because it's quick and it's easy, but it can be sometimes hard or difficult. It can be either way, really.
Amazing. And what other tools do we use? So once we do our pros and cons and we pick our item, does that solve everything?
Not like fully, but it does help a lot.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing your feelings about what happens to you at a restaurant when you go into freeze and one of the ways that we solve that.
Bye!
You are listening to Everyday Feels, and we just heard from Jaslyn. I love Jaslyn's story so much. I just love it because she described what it's like to feel stuck, frozen, and even hesitant about doing something new. Then she allowed herself to feel what she felt, and then she went into problem-solving mode. Way to go, Jaslyn. I cannot wait to discuss this more with you, Nikita.
I can't wait either, Dr. Lockhart. Listeners, if you don't mind, we're going to take a quick break here. Take a pause yourself. Maybe grab some water or a snack. And when we come back, we'll talk about feeling stuck and what to do when that happens. We'll even give you listeners a chance to share that memory and listen as others around you share their memories too. We'll continue after the short break.
Hi, my name is Jonah, and I want to tell you about A Kid's Class About, an all-new streaming platform for kids and teens. I took the class on Discovering Your Passion with teacher Kevin Carroll, and it was amazing and inspiring. I can't wait to check out more classes. There are even classes focused on careers, classes on life skills, and classes on big ideas. And if you're a kid or a teen, I think you're going to love them. Visit akidsco.com and sign up for a free 14-day trial.
Here at A Kids Company About, we make podcasts, but also books, classes, and even more for kids and families just like yours. We've got a couple new and upcoming books in our Little Book About Board book series, embracing toddlerhood's most essential topics. Here's one of our authors sharing a sneak peek.
Hey, my name's Alicia, and I'm the author and illustrator of A Little Book About Grit, a new book in the series about what it means to never give up and how that superpower supercharges your growth. Learn more about A Little Book About Grit by visiting akidsco.com.
Welcome back to Everyday Feels. We just listened to Jaslyn, who told us about how she felt stuck when she went to a restaurant. She talked about what she did about that feeling and how she moved past it too.
That was a really great story. Thanks for sharing, Jaslyn. You know, I think it's so important to remember or to know, if you're hearing this for the first time, that our feelings are really our friends. Just like our body feels thirsty when we need water, so we drink and start to feel better, our feelings do the same thing for our body and our brain. It is a sign telling us what we need. So instead of feeling bad about how we feel, we can simply notice and describe how we feel.
I'm glad you brought that up, Dr. Lockhart. I always thought feeling stuck meant I was just frustrated, but I realized my body was trying to give me helpful clues to fix a problem. Are there any other words we can use to describe this stuck response?
Oh, yes, that's a great question. Now, there are definitely words we can use to describe the stuck emotion. These are called synonyms. And these include words such as reluctant, hesitant, indecisive, hold, stop, or control. Just like I mentioned a moment ago, our emotional response is our brain's way of telling us what we need. Sometimes we freeze and get stuck because we aren't sure what to do next. We're actually trying to figure out if the next decision is a safe one or not.
So it's okay to freeze sometimes and not move forward.
Absolutely. It's okay to pause, stop, think, and then make a decision based on all the information we have, just like Jaslyn did. She weighed the pros and cons, which means she looked at the best thing that could happen and the worst thing. Then she made a decision that was right for her. That takes a lot of bravery.
I definitely agree, Dr. Lockhart. The pause can be hard. We put so much pressure on ourselves to make a decision or even to do something. Sometimes we're just not ready yet. It reminds me when I have days where it's hard to pick out what to wear for the day. The choices feel so overwhelming, but I try to take some deep breaths to reset when I know the decision feels too hard for the moment. I try to remember how taking a pause is okay. Then taking a step forward is okay too.
Oh, that sounds so familiar. You know, I remember when I was a kid and I wanted to not be shy, but I felt stuck and didn't know how to reach out and speak to others in a group. It was so hard feeling uncomfortable, and I didn't want to feel that way. But what I really needed was to learn that so many people feel the same way too and actually have the same reaction, even if they do a very good job at hiding it. Our brains and our bodies are so fascinating. We already know what we need. We just have to listen.
I am loving where this conversation is going, Dr. Lockhart. You know what I think we should do? I think we should give our listeners the chance to take a moment and share a memory with whoever they're with. Maybe they're listening with a teacher or a friend, a cousin or a sibling, a babysitter or a grown-up that they trust. And if you're listening by yourself, you can say the memory out loud or just think it to yourself.
Nikita, I think that's a great idea. Think about a time you felt stuck or frozen when you had to make a tough decision. Share that memory. Remember why you felt stuck. You can write it down, play it out, or just share it with your grown-up. And if you're a grown-up and listening with your kid, take this time to listen. Give them the space to share, and then thank them for sharing their story. There's no need to provide advice. Just listen for now. We'll give you more specific tools in a bit.
All right. Well, here's where you can pause the podcast and share your memory with whoever you're listening with. Take as much time as you need. Dr. Lockhart and I will be waiting right here for you when you're ready to come back.
Welcome back to Everyday Feels. We hope you had the opportunity to share by yourself or with your grown-up about a time you felt stuck.
Dr. Lockhart, before we wrap up, are there any tools for feeling stuck and any tools you can think of that can help our listeners and even the grown-ups.
Oh, absolutely, Nikita. I have one reminder and 2 really helpful tips. So always remember, your feelings are not your enemy. Your feelings give you messages about other people and the world around you. So just embrace those feelings, even the icky ones. I know it's hard, but this is an important part of the process. First, when you feel frozen, stuck, or indecisive, return to the present moment. This is what we call being mindful. Ground yourself by noticing 3 things you can see around you, 2 things you can hear, and 1 thing you can feel, like maybe your back against the chair or your feet on the floor. This helps you get back in the present moment and know that you are in control of the now. Second, put your hand on your heart and talk to your worry and your stuck thoughts. You can say something like, okay, I know you're trying to keep me safe by keeping me on the same or familiar path, but you don't have to work so hard because I will get through this. Even if I feel uncomfortable, that's okay too. What this will do is build your resilience, your grit, your confidence. And that means it will get a teeny bit easier each time you do the scary thing.
Thanks again to Jaslyn from Canada for sharing with us about all the big feelings she experienced going to a restaurant. And thank you, Dr. Lockhart, for letting us remember and understand what to do when we feel frozen or stuck. And thanks to Jaslyn and her grown-up for sharing a few great tips that helped you out when you froze. I'll have to write those down.
So many adults grew up not talking about feelings, and it's time for us to change that story. I'm so glad you listeners are here with us. If you want professional help and need someone to talk to about how you feel, you can find a therapist online by typing child psychologist near me. You can look up all the different professionals in your area. That is a great place to start.
And remember, you are the expert on your emotions.
Emotions are really your friend.
And you're always allowed to feel what you feel.
Let's continue this journey together.
Thanks for joining us today. You can find out more about Dr. Lockhart and her practice online at anewdaysa.com and on Instagram at dr.annlouise.lockhart. You can find my book, A Kid's Book About Emotions, and other kids' books about important topics at akidsco.com.
Everyday Feels is written by Nikita Simpson and Dr. Ann Louise Lockhart. Our show is edited and produced by Ari Mathey with help from Matthew Winner. Sound design is by Chad Michael Snavely and the team at Sound On Studios. Our executive producer is Jelani Memory, and this show was brought to you by A Kids Podcast About. If there's an emotion you want to share for us to explore, send us a note at listen@akidspodcastabout.com. And check out other podcasts made for kids just like you by visiting akidsco.com.
Until next time.
Bye for now.
Hi, this is Matthew, and I'm head of podcasts at A Kids Company About. We hope you enjoyed this show, and we'd love for you to check out our growing library of shows at A Kids Podcast About. Whether you're looking for storytelling with crafts and activities, fact-finding with experts and enthusiasts, or looking to explore and understand your world better, we have got a podcast for you. Check out the A Kids Podcast About channel on Apple Podcasts or wherever podcasts are found, or visit akidsco.com.